Hello, my friends, and I hope you're having a fantastic day. So today we're going to visit the world of D&D again. For those of you who may not know, I am in fact a D&D enthusiast. I played for a long time, longer than some of you may have been alive, in fact, depending on how old you are. I learned when I was just a little one from my parents, and it's been an ongoing passion. I currently do a 3.5 edition session with some friends on Saturdays when we can. As always, the biggest problem with D&D when you're an adult is the BBEG of scheduling. So getting everybody together can be a little difficult, but we do have another session coming up. If you want to hear our previous sessions, you can actually find them on my Horror Errata channel. I don't know if you'll find them particularly exciting. We enjoy them. So there's that. Anyway, what I want to talk about are changes, I guess, and why I feel the way I do about them. There's two things. So first, one isn't an official change of any kind. It is, in fact, from a supplementary book that was kickstarted for about $300,000 worth and is full of some of just the most ridiculous tripe you could possibly imagine. Stuff like decolonizing your D&D. Stuff like making sure that you don't blame the evil actions of a race on the fact the NPCs are a race. This right here, this passage from, I believe it's, hold on, I'll scroll down, Forge of Foes, which is from the Lazy DM. But I'm going to go ahead and read this passage for you. One of the most standard hooks in fantasy games goes something like this. Goblins are attacking the village. The characters need to help. It's a straightforward setup. It's fun, but as written, it embraces the explicit idea that goblins are attacking the village simply because that's what goblins do. So when that hook comes to mind or appears in a published adventure, put yourself in the frame of mind that attacking villages isn't what goblins do across the board. Then figure out what kind of goblins might engage in that sort of behavior. For example, goblin cultists are attacking the village, or goblin bandits are attacking the village. Goblin refugees are attacking the village. Why would you know what? Goblins, men's rights activists are attacking the village. Oh my God, I can't believe I just had to read that. Any of these alternative scenarios sets up the same basic adventure. But in these other scenarios, goblins aren't the noun. They aren't the agents of conflict simply because they exist to create conflict. Rather, they're the adjective giving more context to who the agents of conflict are, letting you explore the story of why they've embraced conflict as a choice. Now, here's my immediate issue with this. First, this assumes that your players are stupid. Straight up. This says that you think your players are dumb as a rock. Have absolutely no way to perceive the idea that the fact that these goblins are attacking the village might not mean all goblins are evil. I'm going to be upfront. All goblins are evil. You might have one or two good goblins, but they are the exception, not the norm. I do, in fact, believe and advocate for evil races in D&D. Because let's face it, it's a game. There's nothing wrong with it. If you can't separate the fact that it is a game, that these things are set up to explain the world, the pretend world that they live in, and you feel that all of these must reflect immediately on real life, then your parents have failed you. Your parents have failed you. Public school failed you. You are a failure in general, period. And there is no nice way for me to say that. And I'm not even going to pretend to even be nice about it. Because if you can't separate fiction from reality, you need mental help. And unfortunately, in our current climate, most of the actual people who would help you also need mental help. So you're just screwed. And I have no desire to pretty that up or even pretend to be nice about this one. Evil races in a fictional setting do not equate to reality. Period. No ifs, no ands, no buts. A goblin is evil because it's born that way. And that doesn't mean people are born that way, because people aren't goblins any more than people are orcs. But back to my initial point, where this assumes that your players are stupid. The reason this assumes your players are stupid is because first, you're assuming that your players aren't going to do anything else with these goblins other than kill them. Your players have no agency, no ability to, after the fray has been fought, to look at these goblins and think, gee, I wonder why they attacked this village. Instead of goblin cultists are attacking the village, it should be goblins are attacking the village. You wipe out the goblins, you search the goblins, and you find the goblins have some kind of interesting fetish. Not that kind of fetish, guys. By fetish, I mean symbol or token or something of a potentially evil deity, if they get the rolls to figure that out. You're taking the actual agency away from your players and treating them like children. Now, I know we've reached a world where we have extended childhood on forever because people have forgotten that you are supposed to be raising children into adults to learn and better themselves as they go through lives. And instead, we treat them like children until they're nearly in their 30s. That's a separate issue again. Someday we'll talk about that, not today. By taking that away from them, you actually remove the role play. You remove the fun. You remove the purpose of the game. At that point, they might as well be reading a novel because they have no ability to then start the adventure on their own. They lack agency because you felt the need to spell it out for them because you can't trust your players. We are fostering a low trust society because of this kind of stuff. Because even our entertainment is teaching people that they can't trust the people that they engage with to actually follow through and think. And it is a major problem. And again, I'm going to reinforce this is not an official Wizards of the Coast thing, but we know from what we've seen, Wizards of the Coast would be fine with this because they too don't trust players. They feel like you absolutely have to treat them like China dolls. You can't trust them to think for themselves, to create their own ideals, to play in a way that makes them and their table the most comfortable. They have to be handheld and babied, which benefits them the most because then they can sell more books and stuff. Because if people can't think for themselves, it's much easier to sell them books so they don't have to. It's part of why the only way I play 5e is if it's homebrew. I generally prefer 3.5 or 2 if I can find it. Now, of course, that's not all. If that was all, I probably wouldn't be making the video because the other news is a few days old now. And really, I try not to get into too much unless I feel like I have enough to say to really say something. So combining the two, I feel like I have enough to say. So here you have Kevin Lamb. He says, great news, everyone. The 2025 Monster Manual has male dryads and succubi are now genderless. And me being the person I am, my first thing is, gosh, I really wish I could see this. My next thought is there's no way in goddamn hell I am giving these people any amount of fucking money just to find that they are in fact doing this bullshit. For one, because I don't want to give them any money. For two, I don't like to give people money to make myself mad. And for three, I'm not giving anybody money as they slowly try to suck all the originality and interesting stuff out of a hobby that I love. So thankfully, after a little bit of searching, I was able to find something that would at least tell me that this news is in fact true. Because much like the whole Foes Forge book, I wanted to make sure that the information I was getting is in fact from Wizards of the Coast and not some third-party book that, you know, if someone wants to choose to play with it, whatever, that's their deal. I'm not going to interfere. I still think that it's trying to treat people like children and does in fact continue on with the same tone from the current manuals. But here you see the upcoming Monster Manual will feature artwork depicting some creatures like hags and Medusa in both genders. A first for Dungeons and Dragons. And fuck you. Seriously. Of all the things that the world needs, equality in evil characters is not among them. There is no reason you need a male hag or a male Medusa. For one thing, Medusa isn't just a character. She's a gorgon. If you wanted to make a male Gorgon, fine. But Medusa herself is not a character, that is not a race. Medusa herself is not an entire race. She is a character. She is an NPC. She has her own identity. You can't just make a male Medusa because Medusa herself is female. You can have male Gorgons, which is what Medusa is, but that would require far too much intelligence and respect and thought to actually manage to do it. Hags, again, female. Designer Jeremy Crawford and Wesley Schneider revealed that the new book would feature artwork portraying both male and female versions of creatures like hags, dryads, satyrs, and Medusas. Oh my God, the fact that they call them Medusas really just beyond the fact that you don't need to. I'm sorry, I just read the next line where it says a male Medusa. I really just wish these people had any idea what they were talking about. I am not one of those who's going to grandstand and say dryads can never be male. I kind of feel like there has been points in time where they've been depicted as male. It's just extremely rare. Satyrs, however, are men. Hags are women. The statement about the succubi being genderless, I haven't seen proof of that. I have seen where they depicted both succubi and incubi, but I wouldn't at all be surprised. And my entire issue with this is that instead of creating a more interesting and unique experience, what you're doing is you're homogenizing everything. Everything has to be the same. Everything has to be on the same field. Everything has to be identical. There are no differences. There's nothing special. Everything has to be, ironically, male and female. You'll notice they don't have any non-binary. They have to, has to have one of both genders because maybe someone of another gender might want to play this thing and they don't want to play a woman or something. I don't know. But I really feel like if that's the case, maybe they should play something else, or maybe they should design something of their own. Make their own thing. Make it special. Instead of taking what's special out. It's one of those really weird cognitive dissonance issues where on one hand, they're saying everything's special and everyone should be special. And on the other hand, they're saying, no, everything needs to fit into this mold exactly so that we can all feel special. And it makes my head hurt. It really does. Because they take everything special out so that nobody's special. Or when everybody's special, nobody's special. I don't know. They ruin creativity. And this, this is about D&D right now, but we all know they've been doing it across the board in every form of entertainment. I've railed about the same thing in video games. And it's just so disheartening and so frustrating. I don't care if you want to have an old, ugly magic user that hangs out in a swamp that's male. Don't call him a hag. Because he's not a hag. Hags are women. Find something else. Make up a name. Make something new. Be creative. Do something new. Instead of breaking down these walls that matter so much to you, and then when people like me get upset, turn around and say, well, why does it matter so much to you? Why does it matter so much to you? Because basically it's the same reason. It matters so much to me because I don't want these things to lose what makes them special. I don't want to see them watered down and turned into something that means overall nothing. They're turning everything into a human, just with some maybe different skin tone or different skin quality or snakes for hair. Everything's basically human at the heart because for some reason these people can't see past that. They can't imagine past that, and they refuse to even try. And why are you in this game where it is so much about imagination and creativity if all you're going to do is try to make it more and more bland? I know they're there specifically to try to feel special, and they don't want anybody else to be more special than they are, so they tear everything else down. And it's just destructive. People will pull out that portion of that Tolkien quote where he says evil can't create. And while I don't necessarily want to call other people evil, it feels evil to me when all you're doing is destroying other people's work instead of creating your own. Take my avatar here, for example. I mean, Cthulhu is a man. Cthulhu is a male creature. He is referred to as a him. I did not want to be a male creature because, well, I'm a woman. So what did I do? I put on a unicorn horn, netted tits. Now I'm a Cthulhu corn. I can be a woman and not at all affect Cthulhu in any way. So I made something new. I didn't make something new out of whole cloth. I twisted something and made it my own. And I love what I made. I love being here and yelling passionately about this stuff while getting to be this fantastical character. It's fun and it does make me feel special. And it makes it better because it's something I made. It's an idea I created. And I employed help to draw the image for me because I know I can't draw, but I know people who could. And then I hired people to make the model. And here we are. And because I went through that, instead of just trying to force Cthulhu into being something he's not, I'm happy. And I don't see a lot of complaints from anybody else about it. Because I didn't just take something that wasn't mine and turn it into something it's not. And I really think that's, again, the biggest problem is the people who are in charge don't understand these concepts and they don't hold the same love. And this is something me and everybody else have said time and time again, and we all know that's the way it is that these people just don't love this stuff, just don't care about this stuff the same way we do. And because they don't understand how we care about it, they can't do anything for us. And that is why Witches of the Coast is going to die. That's why the company is on its way out. I don't see any of this getting particularly far, and it is absolutely frustrating, to see something great fall so far, to see the way that they cast aside and denigrate the people who created it because they don't know how to be better, because they don't know how to make things. They have to destroy them instead. And that's what it is. Unfortunately, I don't have any puppy pictures for you today, but I will have some more soon, probably tomorrow. But I do need to extend my deepest thanks to those who support here on the channel, who are members here on my channel. And that is Dia Ex Machina NZ, Emperor Doomsday, Schmitted, Almugo, Narrator 45, Felix, Stormborn, Aramis, Corinne Ponder, Ben Henniger, John Grant, Robust Delirium, Stephen Devanzo, Hollywood Guy, Mr. Drow, Greg Salente, Soggy Goblin, The Black Wizards, Eric C., XM202 Wow, Cat's Grin, and Silver Ochre. Thank you so much for being members here on the channel. The support you give means the world to me. I have to give Silver on Ko-Fi a huge thank you for being a monthly supporter over there. And I have to thank everybody who supports over there through single donations or otherwise, because honestly, that basically is the money that I set apart for new equipment and stuff. And I'm going to need a new desk and a new Rodecaster soon. So hopefully not too soon, but you all, the fact that you are willing to give your support in a monetary way means the world to me, and I lack the proper way to express my thank you for that. And for the rest of you, for those who spend your time here, I appreciate the monetary support, but the fact that people are willing to spend their time with me, willing to listen, means also the world to me. If you would like to support the channel, you can find the links down below in the description for both the channel membership, or if you prefer to avoid giving YouTube money, you can always support through Ko-Fi. If you're looking for other ways to support, I also have a throne wish list. Your time is your most valuable commodity, and that you spend it here with me means everything. So thank each and every one of you from the very bottom of my cold little heart. All that said, what do you think? What are your thoughts? What are your opinions? I kind of got a little heated in there. So I want to hear what you have to say about it. I do love reading your comments. Thank you so much for watching this video. I really hope you enjoyed it. Please like, comment, subscribe, and turn on the notifications. If you really liked it, you can feel free to share it around, and I will catch you later.